great to see you again. Look, what is your response to the allegations about this leaked phone call?
Good morning. Well, of course, I don't think anybody should be surprised because diplomatic process is a very complex procedure with a lot of moving parts. And, what we see announced after complex negotiations, of course, is only the final result. But what goes into this, in terms of preparations, of course, there are exchanges between the parties and the fact, I'm pretty confident that Special Envoy Witkoff received a task from Donald Trump, make it happen. So to the best of his ability, he thought how to make this peace plan work. And what is important for us, for Ukrainians, is that by now, it is very obvious and clear that everybody who is involved, the US partners, the European countries, everybody has a very good understanding of what are the red lines for Ukraine. And, we are not afraid going into this negotiating process that they will be violated.
I'm going to get to the red lines in a minute, but I just want to come back to this leaked call tonight because it is such a major scandal, massive news in the US. Now, the White House has responded, the president has responded, and Trump says this is typical of the negotiating process and that Witkoff would be doing the same with Ukraine. Do you believe that's true?
Well, I can't say for sure, but of course, look, I can give you an example, my own example. So I have, for example, friends from the United States of America who are, some of them are present in Ukraine, some of them are in the US. And I am always very appreciative of their advice as to how to reach out with our Ukrainian messaging to the American audiences. So it is normal, if somebody wants a peace process to work, it is good to try to align the positions and make sure that everybody is heard. Of course, we hope that this will not disadvantage Ukraine, but at the same time, our president said many times, Ukraine will never be an obstacle to the peace process. And if these kind of behind-the-scene calls have to happen for the peace process to move forward, we're fine with it.
You are much more accepting of this than I imagined because Trump and Witkoff in particular, there are calls for him to stand down over this. Of course, the White House is arguing this is just a normal part of the negotiating process. That's in effect what you are saying as well. But the criticisms are quite brutal tonight. Just finally, back to those red lines. So it seems that territory or land swaps still remain the most politically explosive issue. There is some acceptance that there'll have to be a security guarantee. But do you think Ukraine is actually prepared to concede any territory at this stage?
I know for a fact that Ukraine is not going to accept any legal annexations of our lands. Now, I think by now, it is obvious that the only possible way forward is to accept that the ceasefire should happen along the existing front lines. Ukraine will never concede the territories that we are still, have under control. And even long term, we will never accept the legality of Russians' annexation of our lands. And we will just work, after the ceasefire, hopefully, and a peace agreement, we will work towards our goals through diplomatic channels. But we cannot appraise the aggressor. We cannot reward them for their war crimes. And I think that's a very obvious thing to understand.
How close do you think this deal is to being done? Do you think we actually could see, like we did with the Middle East peace plan, a deal signed between Ukraine and Russia, maybe the next month?
Well, we are seeing a lot of optimism from the White House. We're seeing optimism from the Ukrainian side. What remains to be seen, of course, is what Russians have to say about this, because and the reason why we're skeptical, even though we're trying 24/7 to make it work, but we're skeptical because every day Russia continues to bombard Ukraine, to launch missiles and drones at civilian cities and killing people. So that doesn't indicate that they are interested in peace. What we are worried about that Russians will continue to play along the White House and trying to sort of buy more time because they hope that they will outlast Ukraine in this war. But we are confident, and actually this is an important thing about that Witkoff leaked calls, right? The fact that Russia is consulting or feels the need to consult U.S. special envoy on such matters means that they understand that the U.S. has the leverage to cripple their economy. And the moment their economy is crippled and comes to stall, that's when the war will end.
All right, Yuri Sak, great to have you on the show again. Thank you very much.